Welcome back to the SD1 project. Today's job is the cylinder head. I'm kind of dodging rain showers at the minute, as you can see, so we'll see how much we get done really. But the first job is going to be getting the carbs and the inlet manifold off. You don't really have to take cylinder head off, but I want to because I want to have a look at the block. So the first, I don't know, half an hour is going to be taking off all the cables. We've got a accelerator cable, kick down cable. We've got the manual choke cable, it's had a conversion, which is there. We've got the coolant hoses, which one of them I've taken off, and on the back too, and there's one underneath. Then we've got the brake vacuum hose, a few other bits like that. We'll get all those out of the way. I've already started taking a few of the bolts out of the inlet manifold, 1/2 inch bolts. A few of them are quite tricky to get to underneath and on the towing, on the lifting eye, but not too bad. And then we'll be getting somewhere. After that it'll be exhaust manifold, which obviously is a lot easier to get to, and then we'll get on to lifting the cylinder head. Fingers crossed we'll have it off today. Stay tuned. Right, so we're about 20 minutes into the job now, and as you can see it's looking a lot clearer. What exactly have we disconnected? We've done the overflows on the carbs. We've done the main fuel feed on both sides. We've taken off the main water hose, and then there's another one you can't really see down there, right there. That's off. We've taken off the cables and actually the bracket as well, so we've taken off the throttle and kick down and the manual choke. We've taken off, like I mentioned before, the brake booster, and we've taken off the majority of the 1/2 inch 30mm bolts that hold the inlet manifold on. In fact, the only one that's left holding it on now is that one. So it is about ready to lift, so I'll take that bolt out now and come back to you when it's off, and we'll have a look at the block. Okay, that's the carbs off, and as you can see we have definitely got some issues going on here. I don't actually know, it must be between the head and the block. However, that one does look as if it's come out of the inlet manifold. Maybe it's tracked down, but I mean that's a lot of water in it. I think that is a block or a head problem. So definitely need to get that off, find out what the hell's going on. Next is the thermostat housing, exhaust manifold. We'll get this off today, I think. Let's crack on. That's the exhaust manifold off, as you can see. Another good chunk done, and there's like a heat shield that ducts hot air up into the air filter. That's off, although one bolt into there, which was a 13mm, that did snap. Thermostat looks quite old, quite full of rust. I'm seeing evidence on this side as well of water leaking out between the block and the head, so there is something definitely wrong. Next job, I'm going to remove all the tappet shims, get all the shims out, because I don't want to lose any of them, and plus I'm going to re-shim it when it goes back together anyway. I'm going to do a little video on that because people seem to think it's some kind of terrible job, and it's really not. It's just a bit of maths, and you have to put the cam carrier on and off a couple of times. So I'm going to do a little video on that, a guide on that. The next job is now the cylinder head bolts. I'll do them in sequence. I'm just going to check the sequence in the manual, make sure I undo it in the right order, because obviously I want to make sure it's done correctly. If there's damage to the head, you know, I don't want to do any more damage. So I need to find a socket that fits them. They're like a multi-point, if you can see. I'll get a socket that fits those, and we'll get the head off now. There's nothing else to take off. Oh, I tell a lie, one water hose on the front there, look. We'll get rid of that, and then we'll lift the head. So the head's now off, and I've got to say I've never struggled quite that much to take a cylinder head off. Maybe on an old XK engine where the head bolts go down through the water jackets and then seize to the head. But nothing like this. Well, not apart from that, nothing like that. You know, it's not been easy at all, and as you can see, I've took the gasket off now, and yet most of it's still on there. Obviously all the bores are full of water, and if you can see in there, we've got a fair bit of rust as well. Not really sure what the future holds for this engine now, so I guess we'll get the water out of there, clean the head surface up, and see what it looks like. The bottom of the head is the same, covered in bits of old gasket. A few of those valves don't look very good, do they? Oh no, they're not bad actually. Actually quite clean. Well, yeah, there's definitely been a fair bit of water in there for a while, so we need to figure out why, basically. It's not good. Anyway, I want that leaking everywhere, so we'll do that. And now we'll try turning engine and see where we end up. Okay, we've mopped up the water and then cleaned off the remains of the old head gasket. There's no prizes for guessing which cylinder the head gasket blew into. It's that one, and that's because the piston is really clean. You can always tell, you know, when the pistons are dark and got a fair bit of carbon on them, it's pretty fair to say that that one hasn't blown. And then what effectively happens is the piston gets steam cleaned, so it comes out looking quite nice. Ideally I want the others to look like that before it goes back together. So we've cleaned the block off as best we can. It needs a bit more cleaning, well, a lot more cleaning obviously, but we've got the head gasket off. Now I can't see any massive amounts of corrosion apart from just there in that waterway, but the block doesn't look too bad. One thing I wanted to show everyone is a common fault on 6-cylinder SD1s, which is the non-return valve to the cylinder head. So the oil system to the cylinder head is controlled by that, which is, it's only a very small oil way, and as you can see it's got a tiny little one-way valve in the middle, and if that gets a bit of debris in it and blocks up, you end up with the top end of your engine completely seized up. And that's what happens to a lot of 6-cylinder SD1s. They end up seizing the cam, kind of like mine did. So we'll take that out for now. There we go, and we'll give it a good clean, but I'm not 100% if that's going back in or not yet. In fact, if you look, I don't know if you'll be able to focus on it. Yeah, there's a lot of debris in the top of there. It's not looking amazing anyway, so that obviously needs a bit of love. However, the question mark now hangs over the engine. I don't really want to take the engine out, strip the entire thing down, take the pistons out, so on, to get the block skimmed to put it back together. This is supposed to be just a cheap daily driver project, so I've got something cool to drive that I love, because I love SD1s, while I'm restoring my Mark 1 Jaguar. And yeah, I want it to be right, but at the same time I don't want it to drag on for months and months and months. You know, this is something that's supposed to be on the road soon. Now, it could be down to the cheap head gasket that was used. If you just grab that head gasket for us. It's just terrible. It's one of those weird like multi-layer things where it's like metal in the middle, but then with like cardboard almost either side, and it was not, it doesn't look good quality. It looks terrible, to be honest. It's flimsy as anything. Half of it's still stuck to the cylinder head, half of it was stuck to the block. You know, it was just pointless basically. So I'm going to hopefully get a better head gasket than that to put back on it, because I don't want a multi-layer one like that again. There's no point, you know. If I'm going to put something crap back on, I might as well not bother. So that's pretty much it for today. The next job will be to get that cleaned as best as possible. Clean the tops of the pistons, clean the head a lot more, clean up some of this crap around here, let it dry out as well. And then I need to clean the cylinder head, and we'll check the cylinder head. I think we're going to send the cylinder head to a machine shop and just let them have a look at it. If it needs skimming, we'll get it skimmed. But I think we'll end this video here. As always, any comments, any suggestions, apart from put a V8 in it, and then leave them down below. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you soon.